Hello everyone, welcome to Brilliant Bankers. This is the second part of the video on the automatic teller machines. Earlier we have completed the history of ATMs, the futures of an ATM, what are the benefits of an ATM, and the different types of ATM, that is as per the location type and the ownership type. The location type is of four types. It is the on-site ATM, off-site ATM, worksite ATMs, and the mobile ATMs. The other is the ownership type, which is a white label and a brown label ATM. We have also completed what is a ATM network and how an ATM network works. All these are in the previous part of this session or the previous video. Now let's continue with the profitability of an ATM, that is on the bank's viewpoint. So this is profitability of ATMs. And the CDMs, that is the cash deposit machines, in India can vary on various several factors, including the number of transactions, the operational cost, the transaction fees, and the overall usage pattern that can be seen in different locations, that is the rural and the urban locations. So here are some of the key points. The transaction volumes, the profitability of a ATM or a CDM is closely linked to the number of transactions that they handle. Higher the transaction volumes typically lead to a increased revenue through transaction fees. So what are the transaction fees? Banks often charge transaction fees for using the ATMs and CDMs. These fees contribute to the revenue generated by these machines. The fee structure may vary based on the factors such as the account type, uh, the user account type, and whether the transaction is within the bank's network or involves other bank. Normally, it is rupees 20. There you have five free transactions and rupees 20 plus GST after after that five transactions. So what is the network size and coverage? Banks with a larger network of ATMs and CDMs benefit from economies of scale and increased customer convenience. However, profitability may be affected if the network is not utilized optimally. Technology upgrades. Investments in technology upgrades, such as implementing advanced security features, contactless transactions, and other innovations, can impact profitability. While these upgrades may enhance user experience and security, they also involve initial capital expenditures also. In the case of cash management, efficient cash management is crucial for ATM profitability. Adequate cash availability is necessary to meet customer demands and managing the cash logistics, which involves the additional cost. The regulatory environment. The regulatory environment keeps on changing, such as alterations in transaction fees or policies that is related to interchange fees between the banks can impact the profitability of the ATMs and the CDMs. The customer behavior and the digital banking trends. Nowadays, the customers have started shifting their preference towards digital banking channels and online transactions, which automatically influence the usage of patterns of the ATMs and the CDMs. Banks need to adapt to changing consumer behavior to maintain the profitability in this condition, wherein maximum all the transactions are being done digitally using the GPay, PhonePe, and different UPI networks. So there is a lag in the profitability of a ATM. Competition. The level of competition among banks and the independent ATM operators in a specific region can affect the profitability of a excuse me can affect the profitability of an individual machine. Highly competitive areas may experience downward pressure on transaction fees also. What are the government initiatives that are being done? Government initiatives related to the financial inclusion and the digital payments can impact the usage of the ATMs and CDMs. In India, efforts to promote a cashless economy also influence transaction volumes. So it is important to note that the specific profitability figures of an ATM and CDM in India can vary among banks and depend on the strategies and operational efficiencies of each and every institution. Additionally, the impact of technological advancement and the changes in consumer behavior should be considered in assessing the overall profitability of these machines also. Banks regularly evaluate the performance of their ATM and CDM networks to ensure the cost effectiveness and align with the evolving financial landscape of the location for the use of the ATM. So, what is a CDM? Cash deposit machine. It's a self-service banking terminal that allow customers to deposit cash into their bank accounts without the need of a human assistance. CDMs are designed to streamline the cash deposit processes and provide greater convenience to account holders. In our country, the introduction and proliferation of CDMs have been part of the broader digitization and modernization efforts within the banking sector. Cash deposit machines in India have become an integral part of a banking infrastructure, allowing customers to deposit cash into their accounts conveniently. The deployment and adoption of CDMs in India can be traced back to the last decade. Coming to the history of the cash deposit machines, let's have a small introduction. The introduction of CDMs in India can be attributed to the ongoing efforts of the banks to enhance customer convenience. The need for efficient cash deposit solutions led to the development of all these. In the early 1920s, several leading banks in India started deploying the CDMs as part of their branch automation initiatives. These machines were strategically placed in busy branches and high footfall areas to cater to the growing demand for cash related services. CDMs are designed to accept cash deposits directly into the customer's account, eliminating the need for any manual intervention by a bank staff. Users can deposit cash by entering their account details, and the machine verifies and credits the amount to the specified account itself. So, which is a future of the CDM. What is the expansion and the network growth in a CDM? As the banking sector in India continued to grow, banks expanded their networks of CDMs to reach a wider customer base. The expansion aimed to provide greater accessibility to cash deposit services beyond the traditional banking has also. Integration with the core banking system. CDMs are integrated with the bank's core banking system, ensuring the real-time updating of customer accounts. This integration enables the customers to view the deposited amount in their accounts immediately after taking a or making a deposit. Enhancement and the technological upgrades. Over the years, the CDMs have undergone technological upgrades also to enhance security features, wherein the user interfaces have been changed and the transaction processing capabilities has also come to a better way. So some CDMs also allow customers to deposit cash without using a physical deposit slip. Government initiatives and the financial inclusion. How does this affect the CDM? The government's initiative to promote financial inclusion has influenced the deployment and the usage of CDMs. These machines contribute to the digitization of cash transactions and support the government's effort to create a less cash economy. And customer adoption, with the increased familiarity of the convenience offered by the CDMs, customers in India have adopted these machines as a preferred method for depositing cash. The self-service nature of the CDMs align with the broader trend of customers seeking more convenient and efficient banking services also. So it is important to note that the information provided here is based on the CDMs that are being used in India, and further developments and deployment and evolution in the CDMs of the in the CDM is being done on date also. Coming to the risk management and fraud, what are the different risk and fraud management in the case of the ATM? The risk and fraud management are the critical components of maintaining the security and integrity of a ATM. Some of the key aspects of that are the physical security. wherein the ATM are vulnerable to physical attacks such as the skimming devices, card trapping, and vandalism. Those card skimming prevention. How is that being prevented? Skimming devices are used by fraudsters to capture card information from unsuspecting users. The bank deploys anti-skimming technologies such as the anti-skimming devices and tamper-resistant card readers to prevent the installation of skimming devices on ATMs. The encryption and secure communication. ATMs use encryption protocols to secure communication between the machine and the bank's network. Secure communication helps protect sensitive information such as card data and pins from being intercepted by unauthorized parties. Pins are a crucial element of ATM security. Measures to protect the pins include the use of the secure pin pads, which are designed to resist tampering and unauthorized access also. Banks also educate customers on the importance of keeping their pins confidential, and the education process is still going on, which is being a long process. The real time monitoring of the transactions help identify unusual patterns or suspicious activities also. Banks employ sophisticated monitoring systems that can detect anomalies in transaction volumes, locations, or frequency, triggering alert for the further investigation. Some ATMs are equipped with the biometric authentication features such as the fingerprint or iris scanning also. Biometrics add to an extra layer of security by ensuring that only the authorized user can access the ATM. Anti-skimming technologies. Advanced anti-skimming technologies are employed to detect and prevent skimming devices. This may include the use of the electronic jammers or detectors that can identify irregularities of the card reader surface. Fraud detection and prevention systems. Banks utilize sophisticated fraud detection and prevention systems that analyze transaction patterns and identify potentially fraudulent activities. These systems use machine learning and artificial intelligence to continuously improve their ability for the same. Awareness campaigns to educate customers about the common frauds, the risk, and the best practices for using a ATM. Customers are advised to cover the keypad when entering their PIN, regularly check their account statements, and also report any suspicious activities promptly. The cash replenishment security measures are totally implemented during the cash replenishment process to protect against any thefts or attacks on the cash carrying personnel. Armored vehicles are being used. Secure protocols and adherence to strict cash management procedures are essential elements of this aspect of the security. Regular software updates. ATM secure regular software updates to address vulnerability and enhance the security of the ATM. Ensuring that ATMs run the latest software version helps protect against non-security threats. The incident response plans. Banks develop and maintain incident response plans to address security incidents promptly. This includes the coordination with the law enforcement, communication strategies, and law actions to mitigate the impact of a security breach. Finally, effective risk and fraud management involve a combination of technology, process, and education to create a robust security framework for the ATMs. Continuous monitoring, adaptation to emerging threats, and collaboration between the financial institution and the law enforcement are crucial for maintaining the security of the ATM networks. Coming to the backend operations of a ATM. So, how does a backend operation of a ATM work? The backend of operations of an ATM in India involve a combination of technical, operational, and security process to ensure the machine's functionality, security, and the integration with the bank's core systems. So, about the overview of the backend operations, It is integrated with the CBS or the core banking system. The ATM is integrated with the bank's core banking system, allowing a real time communication for transaction processing and account updates. This interaction ensures the user's account reflects accurate information after each and every transaction. ATM requires reliable network connectivity also to communicate with the bank's servers. This connectivity can be established through dedicated lease lines, virtual private networks, that is a VPNs, or a secure internet connection. The ATM transactions are routed through a switch which act as an intermediary between the ATM and the bank's core banking system. This switch facilitates transactions, authorization, processing, and settlement also. Robust security protocols are implemented at the backend to protect the sensitive information such as card data, PIN, and transaction details. Encryption is used to ensure data during transmission between the end and the banking network. When a user initiates a transaction at the ATM, the backend system performs authorization, that is a transaction authorization, and checks to verify the user's identity, account balance, and the transaction limits. If the transaction is approved, an authorization code is generated and sent back to the ATM, wherein cash to cash management is also done. Backend systems are responsible for managing the cash inventory in the ATMs. This includes monitoring cash levels, forecasting demand, scheduling cash replacement, and coordinating with the cash logistics providers also to ensure adequate cash availability. Monitoring and alerts. Backend systems include monitoring tools that track the performance of the ATMs in real time. Any anomalies, errors, or suspicions activities that trigger alerts for further investigation also. So monitoring also helps identify potential issues before they impact user transactions. The software updates are being done regularly, which is also one of part of a main backend operation. ATMs require regular software updates to address security vulnerabilities, which also introduce new features and improve overall performance also. Backend operations include the deployment of software updates to ATMs across the network. Incident managements that happen in the case of ATM and what are being done. The backend teams are equipped with the incident response plan to address security incidents, technical glitches, or other disruptions promptly. This involves coordination with the technical support, field service teams, and even sometimes with the law enforcement agencies. How is it managed remotely? The backend systems often support remote management capabilities, allowing administrators to perform diagnostics, troubleshoot issues, and update software without physically visiting each ATM location. By record keeping and auditing, the backend system maintains detailed records of ATM transactions, cash movements, and the system activities. These records are crucial for auditing, compliance, and investigating any discrepancies that has or there is a chance of arising in the case of a fraudulent activity. Also, the network redundancy is to be checked to ensure uninterrupted service. Backend operations may incorporate network redundancy and failure mechanisms. This helps in maintaining the continuous connectivity. Even if one network connection fails, they have another or a standby connection so that there is a continuous network availability in a ATM. So the backend operations of an ATM in India are essential for providing secure, reliable, and efficient banking services to the customers. The regular maintenance, monitoring, and adherence to the security are the best practices and are integral to the success of a ATM network in a country. So with that, we come to the end of today's session. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Your feedback is very valuable to us. And this is Nishan signing off from Brilliant Bankers. Do like, share, and subscribe our channel. Jai Hind.